Hello and welcome to another episode of Movies That Make Us. I'm Jake.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Val.
That was a rough beginning for me, guys. I am so sorry. I was really struggling with, I forgot what order. I've got to push the buttons.
That's all right. Before we came on, everybody didn't get to see like all the struggles that I had with my sound. People, you don't understand what we go through to make this happen.
The sacrifices we make to bring this show to you.
It's true. And this morning it was rough. So
Well, Val, don't feel
here.
bad because I recently did an Age of Geek episode talking about Better Call Saul, and my internet was kind of spotty throughout. I dropped out a couple of times during the recording, and then at the very end, we're like giving our final thoughts, and my modem crashed, and I was completely gone. So don't feel bad. You're doing okay.
It crashed on your final thoughts.
It did.
Or maybe they just didn't want to hear them.
No, my internet went completely down. It wasn't on Marley.
Okay.
mm-hmm. Likely story. We'll have to listen and see how it goes. We'll know. Val and I will know as we listen. Wait a second. No, this wasn't a modem crash.
You guys know how spotty my internet can be. Although I did just get the email saying I'm eligible for Google Fiber now. So
awesome.
We looked up Google Fiber and it didn't look better than what we had.
It's better.
So I need to know, but also since they've put Google Fiber in the neighborhood, we've had spotty internet on our other internet. Is it like an Apple upgrade? Like they're making us?
Yeah.
Like
it's this big, like Google came in and took over the neighborhood and they're like, just cut some of the wires in there just to drag down everybody else's internet. So they'll come over to us. I wouldn't put it past them. They're listening to this conversation right now. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, because we're so important.
Well, they have bots that listen to everybody, so they don't like pay people.
It's a big net. They're scooping everything up. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a Sandra Bullock, the net kind of net.
Oh gosh.
That was
I do have to say I went and saw Bullet Train.
How was it?
We had a little so this was my plan.
Okay.
Dave was having kind of a rough day and I've been gone for a while and I'm leaving again today, which is actually Monday. This comes out for another 2 weeks. And so I was like, I'm going to be a good little wife and I'm going to make a little date night because I think we forget to date our spouses, right? As we get into doing things. So I made a reservation. I got us tickets to go see Bullet Train and I looked up the reviews because it was one that I missed the screening on. And the reviews are horrible, but it's got like Brad Pitt and it has all of this kung fu, which him and I both love, all of this combination of things. I'm like, bad reviews, Brad Pitt, kung fu, this is going to be amazing. So I got us like a 4:40 show in the afternoon because we all know how hard I party at night. And I got us reservations at a restaurant for 7:30. And it was a fun little night. And I have to say the movie was fun. Like, I get why there are bad reviews, but Dave really loved it, and I thought it was fun, and it reminded me just because there are, if you've seen any Channing Tatum, Brad Pitt, Sandra Bullock movies lately, you're gonna kind of see a bunch of people pop into Bullet Train.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of little fun cameos.
Oh, nice.
Little fun cameos, and I just finished listening to Stanley Tucci's book. You need to listen to it. It's amazing. I did not know him and Ryan Reynolds are like best friends. And when he was going through cancer treatment, Ryan Reynolds went with him to a lot of appointments so he wouldn't have to go by himself because his wife had just had a baby and was going through recovery. And so I had no idea. And Steve Buscemi was the best man at his wedding when he I just want to be friends with Stanley Tucci. I love him. And during his book, he gives us Italian recipes because his family is from Italy. And I learned a few things. I learned that I'm cooking a lot of Italian things wrong. And he will tell you that you are just flat out, if you're doing it this way, stop. Like it's wrong. but then like a bunch of really easy recipes that I'm like, oh, I'm going to go home and make that right now. And I did. So thank you, Stanley Tucci, for bringing more like brightness into my life once again. I love you. I love you. Yeah.
And
I would also like to be friends, at least with Stanley Tucci and his friends, like that. Ryan Reynolds.
He seems like a really cool
He
dude.
just seems like a really decent, nice guy. And
and he's married to Emily Blunt's sister, so
Right.
he's also really good friends with them.
John Krasinski and Emily Blunt.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
He's got that new show on FX where he buys a soccer team. And that looks pretty
Ryan
fun.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, he did buy a soccer team. That's true.
And if you go to their TikTok for the soccer team and follow them, he gives recaps with another one of their managers, higher up people, executives of each game or maybe it's one of their announcer or somebody. Each game he gives recaps of the game on TikTok, and it's really entertaining because it's just Ryan Reynolds, and he's just entertaining in everything that he does. But Stanley Tucci is also very entertaining, so I could see how those two would get along. It would be a cool crew to run with.
I bet you they
almost as cool as the crew I run with when I run with you guys. That's the crew to run with, of course.
I mean, let's be real though. The only person that runs here is Tracy.
I could be the Stanley Tucci of this group.
Yeah. I wish you're. For me, it's a crew that I walk with. Try to keep up with.
And see, I don't even run, I just jog, but I am getting faster, which is nice.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch your workouts. Fun and inspiring. Tracy posts about them every day on Facebook, and I'm just always amazed.
I got to get this dopey challenge done because I don't want to go through this training again. This is so brutal. I got to go do 11 miles today.
Hopefully it'll go well this year. It'll go well. You'll get it done. It'll be amazing.
Yeah.
It'll be amazing. And last year you would have gotten it done. There were just extenuating circumstances.
I like to think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so guys, we are less than a month away.
Crazy.
From Fanx. Val is going to be back. Don't worry, guys. She's going to be right back after these messages. She'll be right back.
This episode's sponsored by Google Fiber.
Sponsored by Google Fiber. She will be back once she finally gets Google Fiber. Then Google will allow her to be on the internet.
I'm hotspotting off of my phone right now because my internet. Literally, we have been trying to watch. I don't know what's going on this week. We've never had internet problems before, and we're trying to watch the last episode of Stranger Things.
Okay.
And the picture will keep going out because the internet connection is not strong enough, but we can hear it. So we got to stop until the screen comes back on. Wow. And then we started Sandman. Like, it's just been a really frustrating week. So I apologize for the internet. I'm going off my hotspot. Hopefully Verizon got me.
Verizon's
it's a struggle today, guys. So it's a Monday.
So now this episode is brought to you by Verizon. We're switching from former sponsor Google to Verizon. So we'll go with that. We were saying, Val, while you dipped out, and I'm sorry that you're going through it. Like, this is not a fun thing for you. We understand. So we're glad that you're here.
Yes.
And we just want to take you in any capacity.
I am too.
So, but we were saying we are less than a month away from Fanx, you guys. Like, I can't even believe that it's here. The schedule is still being updated, and they will probably. We've done enough of these conventions now, each of us, so we know the schedules get updated up to the day of the event, and sometimes on the day of the event. And so we're flexible and we get it. But we do know one of the panels that we will be on will be a 20 years of Spider-Man on the big screen panel.
I love
brought
it.
to you by Movies That Make Us. We are so excited and just grateful that they keep giving us an opportunity to have a room full of people to talk to movies about, or talk about movies too.
And I do want to say that we will be giving away prizes because there are a lot of movies coming out, and I've had several studio reps say, hey, what are you doing at Fanx? Can you give away stuff for this movie, this movie, this movie? And I have stuff that I've been compiling since in between the last Fanx and this Fanx. So if you come to our panel, you will probably walk away with something cool.
Val gets good swag. This is not like crap swag either. This is some good stuff.
Yeah, she does. And that's exciting. And we want to see you. We had so much fun running into a couple of people last year at our panel that came up to us afterward and talked to us. And it was just really awesome. And so for us, like, you guys probably, I don't get why people want to listen to me, but I think it's great when we run into you. So, like, thank you
so for listening.
Yes,
at some point we would love to do this as a job, but we know right now it's our funnest hobby ever.
It really is. Yeah.
But it is nice to know that people are listening, because that's just a cool thing. So we will have stickers in addition to the swag that Val's giving out. We still have some movies that make us stickers, and that will be a lot of fun. And I'm bringing my oldest daughter with me, who's going to do a good job. She promised of taking pictures and posting them on social media. So if you run into us, we'll put your picture up on our Instagram, and that'll be fun too. Unless you don't want us to, and then we'll respect your privacy. But if you don't care, then we will.
Do you know if the kids are going to do anything at KidCon with the doing the signing and stuff?
So they are not, and that's my fault.
Oh, okay.
Not the convention's fault, and I want to make that clear. I had submitted some ideas through our panel submission, and then Blake said, "Hey, submit this to KidCon at this email," and then I got busy and I forgot to do it. So not their fault, not the convention's fault, but my fault. So, but we want to do something. I had pitched an idea where I would be doing a panel with my kids talking about deaf culture, which is getting more and more in the mainstream and pop culture, and that the whole panel would be in ASL. And it wasn't a right fit for this show, but we're hoping that next year, with Echo coming out and things like that, that we'll be able to get it on the panel docket for next year. So that would be really awesome. And that wasn't going to be a KidCon pitch. That was going to be just a normal panel, and we would do it all in ASL.
That's cool.
So part of me was a little bit bummed that it didn't work this time, but I totally get it. I mean, I understand. But also part of me was relieved, because I was like, that meant I had to go for a whole hour in ASL, and I wasn't sure my kids would be great at it. But anyway, but those are some things that would be really neat. They've been really cool to have us on and do that kind of stuff before. And they would have this year. I just, like I said, dropped the ball on my side. So
it's crazy. Yeah.
But I know I talked to Blake a couple weeks ago. Blake Castleman, good friend of the program, good friend of ours, does the panel programming at FanX, and he said that we are on some cool panels. I don't know what that means, except that we're on some cool panels, so I'll take it.
I'll take anything they want to give me.
Yep, exactly. That's my feeling too. I'm flexible. I know I'm going to be there all 3 days, so
I'm just happy to have a seat at the table, man.
Exactly.
Just happy to be there.
Yeah. So, and I've really enjoyed it over the years, getting to know some people and meet some people and make some friends and things like that. It's a lot of fun.
It's like a big family reunion every year, which is just lovely. Although I do plan on wearing a mask a lot on the floor, because that con crud plus COVID. Yeah,
it saves me. I go to a lot of cons, and usually every Saturday, like the largest day of the event, I've got a mask on. And big ones, like I was just in Emerald City Comic Con, and I'm heading to PAX West. They still make everybody wear masks, and I gotta say, like, I'm not really afraid of getting COVID anymore, knock on wood. It's more of just, it's saving me from feeling like crap 2 days after the convention. But I do want to say, I am heading to D23, and the Saturday of D23, they're doing a big Marvel reveal. I'm hoping to be in that room so that I can post some stuff.
Yeah. I am so excited to hear what they announce at D23, because this is what I like about Disney. They are good at what they do as far as marketing goes. I don't know that any company does marketing better than Disney. And they had some great
I know of one, but we can't mention it on this show.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about it after. Color me intrigued.
No, it's just adult content. They do really well.
Okay, well, in all fairness, some of that stuff's
the after dark.
Market, really. Anyway. So, but what? No, I'm off. What I was going to say, I really thought they had some great announcements from Marvel at San Diego Comic-Con. But I kept thinking, I know they've got time slated at D23. what are they sitting on and saving for D23, and I think that will be really exciting. And Marvel's killing it in a lot of ways right now. I know a lot of people are kind of down on Phase 4, and I get it. I get why people are, because it's so hard to build up to what we got with Endgame,
right,
and then go back to kind of starting over, because that's really what we're doing with a lot of the characters, is starting, and it's another Phase 1 almost.
But if you look at Phase 1, 2, and 3, there weren't all winners in there. You know what I mean? Like, but we also didn't know or have expectations. We were just going along for the ride, and now we're like, we need to know right now what all of this means. Well, we didn't make that happen before Endgame. We were just like happy to have it. So now I think we need to go back to that mindset. We should just be happy to have it, because we know they've given us a good track record. They've proven to us that in the end of whatever the phase is, that they make it all fit. And now they're interlooping from series and film into the biggest universe. So give them a chance. It's not like they have failed us before. Again, not all the movies have been winners. Thor, Dark.
And not all their series. Not all their series have been winners.
Yeah.
I mean, Iron Fist. I didn't even try to cover that with a cough. I think everybody's on the same page with Iron Fist. So. But
I mean, that wasn't in the MCU though. Like now they're bringing that over to Disney, and we have Daredevil coming, which is fantastic.
In exciting news, they announced the director for the Fantastic Four, which was originally going to be, forgive me, I can't remember his name. It was originally going to be the guy who's done the Spider-Man movies, but he had to drop out. And so they went with Matt Shankman, who directed and did the show running for WandaVision, but he's also done episodes of Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. And that I'm excited for that one. I like his work a lot. So I'm excited to see.
The other thing that I'll say, as a longtime reader of comic books, there are some titles that I really enjoy that I'll go pick up, and like I know I'm going to really enjoy whatever that title is. Spider-Man is one that I usually will pick up and enjoy. Wolverine is one that I'll usually enjoy. But then there are others I'm like, that's not really my jam. Now, if it's somebody else's, that's great. And I think we're hitting that point with the Marvel movies too.
Yeah.
Where there's going to be some where you're going to say, that's not really my jam. And you know what? You don't have to watch it. And that's okay.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about like living your own life, man.
Yeah. I don't understand the people that are like personally offended when they watch a series or a movie and they're like, I really just didn't enjoy that. Marvel just sucks now.
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't enjoy that series. I don't know why you feel personally attacked by that series, but like,
I also want to know like what you make for dinner every night. Sometimes I want to cancel other people's dinner. Like, you don't make everything great either, and it's not for everyone. Maybe I didn't want a burrito, but you made me one and I wanted pasta. Now you're canceled. Sorry, you suck. Like, I just why hold so much hate in your life?
I feel sorry for those people. Like it's just sad. It's like,
I agree. I just feel like, and I feel that way because the last couple of series I've enjoyed, and I know that other people haven't, and I'm okay. I'm at peace with that. What I'm not at peace with is everybody that feels like if you enjoyed it that you're just a lemming or you're woke or you're this or you're that. No, it's just I didn't have the issues with it that you had, and that's okay.
Right. Like for me, real quick, like I've enjoyed She-Hulk, but I find the CGI distracting. Like the CGI does not, it's not up to par in most of what they've done. And it just looks like the eye lines don't quite match up, and it doesn't look like she's physically taking up some space. And so that's been a little distracting, but I love what Tatiana Maslany, I think I'm saying that right.
And I think as you get more into it, you'll appreciate it more because they kind of start.
I'm enjoying it,
but with the CGI, they kind of start aligning it with the original television show and some music that comes with. So then I kind of forgive it because I'm like, they're giving us a little bit of all the Hulk that we love. But yeah, I mean, like it's not going to be tremendous CGI, but neither were any of the movies or the television show. So for me, I'm happy to get the Hulk. I'm happy to get this new storyline. And I'm sorry, I've seen the first 4 episodes. And it's really fun. Like it's really, is it my favorite series? No. Do I hate my life now because it's not everything I wanted? No. Stop it, people.
And,
stop it.
And what I like about it is for those that were into the She-Hulk series, and I'm not one of those, and I'm not going to try to pretend like I was.
Uh-huh.
But this is very similar. It has the same feel and tone to what the She-Hulk comic book series has been like, and right down to her breaking the fourth wall, like she did it before Deadpool. So anybody that says that they're copying Deadpool, they are not. They are copying the comic book series on which the show is based. All that being
Deadpool
said,
wasn't the first one to do that.
what's that?
Anywho, Deadpool wasn't the first one to do that either. Like,
No.
Ferris Bueller did
there's
it.
nothing original about anything anymore. You just have to look at how they create the content.
Modern world.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So FanX is coming up. That's the tangent that got us to where we are right now.
Wow, we're 20 minutes in and we haven't even talked about the movie yet. This is new. This is new for us.
So we got to get all that
it has been.
We have to get all of this out. I will be wearing this shirt, and I have two more that I will be debuting and showing off. One of them is Miles Morales themed at the show, and so I'm really excited about that. And Val, I cannot wait to see your shoes in person.
Oh my gosh, your shoes!
FanX. They look incredible.
I love my shoes, and I know they're not as cool as like our friend Craig Price's shoes that have his like huge logo on them. It just has a little "What to See with Val" on the thing, but I did them one, and they have different color swooshes, one to represent Spider-Man, one to represent Iron Man. And I put them on yesterday for the first time. I felt like a superhero. They're super cushy. They're super cushy.
They got them to you fast too.
I know. I was so excited. I didn't think I was going to have them in time to like take them with me because I wanted to take them with me to D23. But yeah, they got here like super quick, and I don't know how I'm just gonna get regular shoes now. I mean, I know because my budget does. There's no way that I can buy shoes like this on a regular basis. But I turned 43, and there were a few things that I wanted to do for myself, and this was one of them.
I love it. So, yeah, those shoes are sweet.
I like them. I personally, Val, I like them better than Craig's shoes. The two pairs
I just, again, along what we were talking about with Marvel, I think that there's room for everyone's cool shoes.
I agree. There is. Everybody, wear your cool shoes at FanX. Come with us, my cool shirts. I got them from Roosevelt's. They're not a sponsor, but boy, if they'd like to be, I would not be sad because I really like a lot of their stuff. They've got some cool things. So I wouldn't be sad if anybody wanted to be our sponsor. But we are going to talk. Go ahead, Tracy. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I said until then.
Until then, this show is brought to you by Verizon and Val's Hospital. Can you hear us now? You can. We are talking about a movie today, and it's not even like this was a bad movie that we don't want to talk about.
Right.
We just have to catch up, and we have to talk about FanX, and that's exciting. Yeah. So we are talking about The Secret World of Arrietty.
And I thought this would be a fun combination with the fact that our last episode that we did talked about Marcel the Shell in shoes, and I thought this just world of littles, because Marcel's really little living in this big world, and I just thought this was really great, and I hadn't seen it in a while, and I'm so glad I watched it. I watched the other night, and Dave came home, and he comes in, and I'm just like tucked in watching a little animated movie, and he's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Sit down, have some fun with me."
I had not seen this before we watched it for this episode. I was not worried about it because it's a Studio Ghibli film, and I'm always sold on those. They are beautiful. And immediately as I'm watching it, I thought, I miss this kind of animation so much because everything seems to be going with the computer generated stuff. That's the look, that's the expectation, especially from the larger studios. But this is such a beautiful work of art. And a beautiful art form. And so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And I also realized my kids are way cooler than I am, which is not a surprise. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. But as I was watching it, each of my daughters came in, they're like, "Oh, what are you watching?" And they looked and like, "Oh yeah, this is a really good one. We really like this." Because they have watched all the Studio Ghibli films on HBO Max and they love them. And so I'm like, yeah, my kids are just really cool. And I appreciated that.
That's the way it should be.
It should be cool.
That's
Yeah.
the way it should be.
Your kids should be cool. If your kids aren't cool, then what are you doing? Just kidding. Kids are cool too. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I hadn't seen this one either. But I'm with you, Jake. There's just something about hand-drawn animation that it just is. There's room for it, and it drives me crazy that everything is going CGI, which is it's its own thing, and it's great, and it can do amazing things. But there is just something beautiful about the hand-drawn animation.
Tracy, there's a whole bunch of hand-drawn coming out this year. So there's a few shorts that I will send you links of, and maybe I can, and Jake, you can share them as you want. But there's a whole bunch of 2D hand-drawn stuff coming. They're independent. Most of them are shorts, but it's a lot of fun. And I agree with you. Like it's still out there in the world. You just have to look a little bit harder for it. Yeah. But I love it. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, I as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about The Princess and the Frog, which I feel like was the last kind of hand-drawn 2D animation big release from Disney. And like, I just miss, like, I love Tangled. I think it's great. I like Frozen, but there's just something about this artwork. And so I'm glad. And of course, there's some great independent stuff out there. That never surprises me because I think we overlook a lot of that because we only hear about the big studio stuff. But I just want more of it. So I'm glad to hear that there's some coming, and this just made me happy to watch it. And it was such a great story too.
And there are two different versions. There's the original that came out overseas. And then this is the one that Disney picked up and then put a whole bunch of our favorite actors' voices over it. And so, and I really thought that they fit, I really enjoyed the voice work in this.
Yeah.
Because it seems to me that there's a trend in Hollywood when it comes to animated films is we're just going to get stars with names, and it doesn't matter whether or not they fit that part, they fit that role. They're a name that I can market with. And I thought this one was really interesting because Will Arnett has a very distinct voice, right? Like he's the Reese's guy, he's the Lego Masters guy, he was Arrested Development. And so I could see he's Lego Batman, but in this one, it was him, but you could tell that he was acting in this character. And I'm a sucker for Amy Poehler, so that was a lot of fun. And Carol Burnett, and she's just an icon. She was recently on Better Call Saul and had a very major plot point. And it was really fun to see her back on the screen and show them what she can do. So I was really happy with the voice acting on this one.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I agree that it's people that I love to hear from, but none of it stood out where it was distracting, where it's like, I can't not see them doing that. It just went really well, just really well acted. I typically with a foreign film, I'll usually watch it with the captions instead of dubbed because I find the dubbing can be distracting sometimes. But on an animated foreign film, I usually don't mind the dubbing over the captions just because, I mean, animation, they're animating the words.
You don't need that direct sync.
Yeah. So it works a little bit better with animation, but sometimes, it can be distracting. And this time I thought it was really well done and really well acted.
There's something that I've been noticing a lot lately because when we do get into movies, we don't often think about the sound effects that go with them unless it's like a huge explosion movie or something like that. But I've screened a lot of movies this week, and I watched this weird documentary that I'm not even going to give you the title of because the sound is so bad. Like the sound is so awful in this movie, and it's the sound effects, like somebody walking, right? Just like those kind of things. But what I loved about The Secret of Arrietty is that because they're so little, all of those little tappings and noises and everything is so important to their world. And I just thought they did such a great job. Like when you hear the little bugs, like coming in, because they need to be able to hear those things, and they do, because they're small, but that's also their life, right? Their livelihood, to like understand where they can be, what's going on. And I thought just the sound, the art of the sound put into this movie, on top of, yes, the voiceovers, but also the music and the sound effects were so good. And I don't know, there's something that I just love about hearing like little footsteps done the right way. Is that weird? Am I the only one that really appreciates the sound of like little taps and footsteps and that kind of stuff?
There's a whole streaming genre based on it called ASMR, where people just love the difference. It is the truth. Like you've got people that are like tapping on the mic. It's just bizarre.
I sent my daughter a link to different keyboard taps, because that's satisfying to me. So I guess that's the same thing. That's okay. We're a bunch of weirdos, people.
It's the same thing, but like, and I agree, like I love good sound, and I'm with you. Like there's just something about good, crisp, that sound just is amazing, and that will suck me into a movie. And I even love it when I go to a theater and they've got like the promotional Coke stuff at the beginning, where they've got
they do that on purpose. They want you to go buy that Coke.
Yeah. And I'm like, there is just something so satisfying. My favorite sound in the world is when you get a good capture of a soda pop can opening. Like, I get it. I'm with you.
Yeah.
But when I watch these ASMR videos, you just feel like you're being naughty somehow when they're doing it. Like there's something sexual about it almost. And I don't understand why, because there's nothing inherently, but when you watch it, go look this up when you're done, Val. I promise it will blow your mind.
I will send you both.
Really are as people.
I will send you both. There is a video. Beavis and Butthead is back on Paramount Plus. They've revamped.
Oh, thank goodness!
And
we needed more Beavis.
No, but actually, we did.
Butthead
was actually really clever at times. But they, instead of watching videos now, because there's no MTV, they watch TikTok and they watch YouTube. And there is a video where they watch an ASMR video, and Beavis gets very excited about it and turned on. It's hilarious.
I don't understand the whole trend, but that is not what I agree that the sound effects in this are really, really amazing, because they do. I don't know that the world feels as genuine without that kind of sound effect and without that kind of sound editing that they do with the bugs and the different things. And it helps create that contrast between the little world that they live in, and then when the beans, I love, by the way, that they're called beans, get involved, and there's like the rumbling and the huge sound effects.
Yeah.
And it really creates that contrast in a really great way. So,
and I'm a sucker for good sound design. It's always kind of fascinated me. I love the behind the scenes, and like I've watched several documentaries about his name's escaping me. I want to say Ben Burt, but I don't think that's right. Pardon me. He did a lot of the sound effects for like Indiana Jones and some of the Star Wars stuff. He got hired to do for WALL-E. It's just the little sounds, like in Indiana Jones, the very first one, when they have the snakes, that's like him putting his hand through his wife's cheese casserole with rubber gloves on. And it's like, where do you even think of these things? But
did he at least eat the cheese casserole when he was done, or did they waste the cheese casserole?
I don't.
But I'm with
that's
you.
Crazy. Yeah, how creative they get.
Yeah, and it's the little noises where the little fishing hook hooks into the wood, and it just and there seems like there's a trend in a lot of Hollywood films of just make everything louder, and that's not necessarily good sound.
Not everything. They make everything louder except the dialogue.
Yeah.
They make that quieter, and then then you're stuck with a Christopher Nolan movie and you can't understand what anybody's saying.
I really want to like you, Christopher Nolan. I really do.
It's going to be interesting to see with his Oppenheimer, because that is being rumored to be kind of a more personal story instead of a big bombastic thing. And so I really hope that this, because he's been pushing that kind of sound design for a while now, and it's really getting on my nerves. So I love Christopher Nolan. I think he's a genius, but his sound lately has been driving me crazy.
Yeah. I love the story in this too. It's based loosely on the borrowers, and they call themselves borrowers. And I remember watching. Yeah, I remember reading the borrowers. I remember there was a movie, like a live action movie of the borrowers at one point. Like there was a time in the late 80s, early 90s, maybe mid 90s where borrowers and littles were like a really
TV show, The Littles. Yeah.
I watch The Littles all the time.
Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are the Littles.
Yes.
I don't remember anything else from that themes track, but I remember that part. Yeah.
And so I love this idea of these people, these little people that like live in our world and create a world of their own. And it's just really, it was really great to see that kind of a story. And it was also interesting to see the interactions with the human beings, or the beings as they call them in this. My daughter was really cute. She's like, I don't know why they call them beings. And then when I'm like, I don't know why they call them beings either. And then when they say human beings, I'm like, that's why, because they're mishearing beings. Okay. I'm with you.
Because when I first watched the movie, probably the first 2 times, I thought they were calling them beans. Like bean.
Yeah, that's, I think they do call
not
them.
a being, but a bean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really thought like they just were like calling them a bean. Like I didn't know, like I missed the human being part.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I like figured that out, I'm like, that's cute. That's cute.
It's clever. And you feel weird. I felt weird that I didn't figure it out from the beginning, but it's not really clear until they say it.
I mean,
it's not. I like the characters in this. I like the dad who, he goes out, he does the borrowing because that's what he's got to do. The mom is the most helicopter kind of mom, but also weird. Like there are just weird scenes too, where she's like, well, if you've got the laundry done, I'm just going to go lay down in the middle of the day. And I'm like, oh, okay, good for you, Bob. And she does, like, she's all out, like mask on and everything, just snoring away. And
self-help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Self-care.
Self-care. Yeah. Yeah. Self-care. And which is important. And so, good for mom. She's a modern woman taking care of herself. That's awesome. But there was just so much. I love when she finds the little pin and she makes that her stabber, her little sword.
Yeah.
And, it's just really great. The boy in it was a little bit weird because I felt like, I know he was sick, but I felt like they also made him look, he wasn't blind, but every time he was interacting with her, it wasn't like, I know he was trying to not look at her, but it was just weird.
Yeah.
The way that the interactions went. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
But I love the interactions with the cat, because as an owner of a cat.
Oh, that cat.
But just some of the animation, like the little twitch of the tail, because my cat, when he gets very excited, when it's time for breakfast or for dinner, like just the very tip of his tail just starts quivering like a million vibrations a second. And it's just the funniest thing, because it's not not his entire tail, just the tip. And so just to see little things like that with that cat just made me laugh. And I love that when she when you think the cat's going to attack her, and then he actually like leads the boy back to her. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Did you find yourselves, just because we watched Marcel before this and then watching this, every time they would like pull out and you would see like the yard to the house, I always thought Marcel's out there somewhere. Like, because there's so many little worlds now that I've seen Marcel. I'm like, there's so many little worlds out there. That's why I thought it was such a good kind of
a good follow-up.
Like follow-up. So if you haven't seen Marcel, watch it, then go watch our podcast and then watch this one, because I just thought it added a little bit more like magic and make-believe to everything.
And Marcel fit into this world.
Totally
would fit into this world.
Yeah. Well, and it's a similar kind of story too, because Marcel and his grandma are left behind, and they're the only ones from their shell community that are still there. And we don't ever get an explanation for what happened with the rest of the borrowers in this house, but they're the only borrowers left in this house, and they've kind of been left behind. And obviously there were more of them, because the grandfather at one point built that whole house for the borrowers.
Right. That's true.
The dad thought was a dollhouse, and then you find out later, no, it's not. Like, these are like, that's a real oven that you can cook in and everything else. And I love the way that the boy decides to handle the situation by taking the kitchen out and then just taking their kitchen out. Like, how freaky would that be when this giant comes in and like, oh, you need a new kitchen. Let me rip your kitchen out. And here's the new
I wish it were that
you.
easy, you know.
I know, that would be nice if it were that easy. But
just go to the store, buy a kitchen, take it home, put it in. We need some PIM particles is what we need. Yes. So that Home Depot can be a little bit, you know, more of a like instant now experience, because then you literally could just go, you just need to learn how to shut your water off, and then you could just interchange your house all the time.
That's a great idea.
And buying furniture would be easier. I mean, sure, IKEA, you can fit an IKEA couch in your car because it comes in a million pieces.
Yeah, but then you have to put it together, and we all know that's stupid.
So Agreed. But if you could just shrink that bad boy down and put it in your shopping cart, and then when you get home, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Be awesome. Buying a house would be easier. You wouldn't have to move locations. Just shrink that house down, bring it to your place, shrink your house down, put that house in. New house. Neighborhoods could be renovated in like minutes instead of years.
But you know that there would be like one afternoon where I had a little too many margaritas. Not that happens. I'm not saying that this is a thing. Right. And I'm just like with my PIM particle machine, just like ship, 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 ship. Like that's all I'm doing for like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
with something, and then all of a sudden somebody's house is shrunk with them in it, and then I'm like, I didn't do that.
You could be like She-Hulk, where she's in her She-Hulk form and she can drink as much as she wants, and then when she goes back to being it's completely wasted.
So like one drink, like that's literally what it is. I don't drink very often. It's like one drink. I could smell you drinking, and I'd be like, woohoo,
party! I've always wondered what kind of drunk I would be. Number one, I don't think it would take a lot.
No,
because I've never drank before, so I'm sure
you'd be a happy drunk because you're such a nice person.
Yep.
Yeah, but I worry that like my drunk personality would be like the opposite, and I'd be like super grouchy and mean to everybody.
Surly and
I don't know how. I've never seen you grouchy,
Jake.
My kids have seen me grouchy before.
Well, because you're the dad. You're not my dad.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not in charge of me.
No, I am not. I'm very clear on that. I am not in charge of either of you.
I am very clear on that.
Nor am I looking to be in charge of any more human beings in any form or fashion. So.
Because there's no more room on the shelf or in the drawers or anything.
The drawers, we're out of drawers. I don't have a place for you to sleep. I'm sorry.
The one thing I loved a lot of things about this movie, but the coloring with this movie and all the blues and the greens, and then when something was a little out of sorts, it wasn't in those tones. I don't know if that was just yellow. Me. The yellows and the reds, you just didn't see them very often, and it reminded me a lot of Ponyo. Whereas you know, the coloring of Ponyo a little bit, which is also one of I love that animated movie.
Yeah, I agree. And that's just how masterful I think Studio Ghibli is at what they do to tell the story that way. And those are the little things that you're not necessarily going to notice unless you're watching it to talk about it on a podcast episode or something.
Right. But subconsciously it affects you.
But it does. And it's interesting to break that down and be like, why did I feel the way I did? Oh, because they did this or this. And that's just masterful storytelling, which is what I love when a movie can do that to me.
And I was doing a little research about this, and evidently the end was the Disney version ending. In the Japanese release, it just ends with them in the teapot going down the stream. They don't have the epilogue where the boy says he came back a year later. But I didn't feel like, because you get the Disney-fied thing, and I didn't feel like they did anything. Like, it just wasn't. It felt natural. It didn't feel tacked on. It didn't feel egregious. It didn't feel like it was a sad ending that became a happy ending. It was just a continuation of what Ghibli had already done. And I thought it was nice. So I didn't have a problem with it.
I didn't have a problem with that either. I didn't know that. So that's how natural I think it felt to me. I didn't know.
Only like an extra minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not long.
But I also am not against things being Disney-fied. I mean, I'm a Disney fan myself. And part of the reason I like a lot of things that are Disney is because I do enjoy a happy ending. I value movies that don't necessarily have a happy ending. And sometimes you see a movie and it needs to not have a happy ending because of the story that's being told. And I get that. But I have no problem going to watch a cartoon, a kid's movie, or a family movie and have it have a happy ending. That's okay.
Yeah.
So that's all right.
I don't want to go watch the Little Mermaid and have like it end with her suicide. Like I don't need that necessarily.
So you don't want the original story,
original
right? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't need the original story. So, but anyway,
Jake wants
I
an
enjoyed
animated
this
version of the Road McCarthy.
Yes,
that's what Jake wants to watch.
I would like for Disney to do a Disney princess version of Romeo and Juliet. At the end, they just get married and they're happily ever after.
On that note, I'm going to see Rogue One in theaters tonight. So not a happy ending, and I'm totally okay with that movie. But I'm also okay, with it's
okay.
And you get a sneak peek of Andor, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. So
I made some comments about Rogue One. I need to clarify that really quickly. I like Rogue One. I think it is a great movie. And one of the things I really appreciated is I knew it wasn't going to be a happy ending when I went to go see it. Like we all knew.
If you didn't know.
But they still got you to the point where like it sucked. In a good way.
Because you didn't want the ending to be an ending because you loved the characters so much, but you knew that's how it had to be.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Now, and I want to make sure that you understand it sucked in a good way, the way it was supposed to, not that the movie sucked. I like Rogue One. I just want to make that clear.
Did you get flack for it?
Thrown Empire Strikes Back. I had comments made to me about saying that.
Who made these comments to you?
Just people. It's fine.
Valerie's got people.
I took care of them. They won't be a problem again. Now, I feel like we're going to a Godfather episode. All right.
Which we haven't ever talked about on the show, but maybe we need to do a Godfather month. Or just an episode that goes an hour and a half.
Well, I would be fine doing Godfather and then Godfather 2. I don't know that I want to necessarily do 3.
But I also want to talk about the show about the story behind. I started watching that this week, but then my internet went out and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Thanks, internet. Like I'll hopefully be able to jump back in.
Now, if you really want to experience it on your phone, Verizon is the best way to go. And they are so happily sponsoring our show today as not a sponsor.
They don't even know it, but they are.
Don't know it. They are our unofficial, not a sponsor. And Tracy looks like he may need Verizon or some sort of internet.
Something.
So we've lost Tracy. Maybe he's back. Are you back with us, Tracy?
I'm here.
Okay. You froze for us for a minute. So, but Tracy's not using Verizon, and that's probably part of the problem.
No, that's definitely part of the problem.
Okay. Let's give this movie a grade. This has been so. I realized we just talked about the chest of drawers, and we talked about that before the show and not actually on the show, and then we just referenced it. So you guys will never know what that means. We won't explain it. That my kids sleep in a chest of drawers.
That's true.
So it's fine. They don't really. Before you call DCFS, my kids do not sleep in a chest of drawers. They have
anymore.
Yeah. All right. So this movie. Tracy, before your internet cuts out again, what would you give this movie as a grade? Nope, too late. We missed it. Nope, he's back.
This is one I had not seen before. It's weird because it didn't freeze on my end, but this is This has been a heck of an episode.
It has. This has been fun.
This is a movie that I had not seen before. Animation. It's a little slower pace, which is okay. I can go in the B+ range. That's
okay. B+ from Tracy. What about you, Val?
Yeah, I'm like B+, like that area. I think it's a lot of fun. I do think that it held up well for me because this is one that I did get to see in the theater when it came out. And then when I watched it again, like I really was enjoying it. It wasn't like, oh, I really got to get through this because we have to do a podcast about it. Because there are some movies, I'm sure we've all done that because we're like, oh, this, I used to really like this, but wow, this is taking forever. You know what I mean? So for me, it held up well. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the animation style.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to talk about Rubber, Tracy. We did that one already. I think more recently, probably sitting through Sharknado felt that way. Just kidding. It was fun because it was a group of people, and Dave made some really great jokes that we cannot repeat on this show and keep it as PG-13. So I agree with you guys. I think it's a B+. This is a great movie. I think if you're getting into Studio Ghibli, you've probably seen like Howl's Moving Castle or My Neighbor Totoro or Spirited Away. If you're looking to move into some of the other films that are put out by the studio, this is a great one to look at, and it's still beautiful. I want more of this. So yeah, B+ from me as well. Whew, awesome. We made it through the show. We're all still here in some capacity. So thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. We hope to see you at FanX in just a few weeks. We would love to see you there. Stop by, watch our panel. We'll put up the times and promote it once the schedule is out and available. And each of our individual schedules we'll make sure to put up on our Facebook page, Instagram, all of that, so you guys can find that as well. And we appreciate you being here, and thank you for listening. Check Tracy out tomorrow morning on the latest episode of Age of Geek. He will be talking about Better Call Saul with Blake Castleman and Marley Haywood Black. And I have not seen Better Call Saul, so I did not participate in that episode, but I know Tracy loves it, so I'm sure the conversation.
So good, Jake. So good.
I know. I've got to find time to watch something like that, like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul at night when my kids aren't awake, and that's hard to do sometimes. Yeah. Anyway,
Better Call Saul.
So probably when they've graduated at school.
Doesn't have
yeah. Once they've graduated high school and moved out, or even they're adults at that point, so it doesn't matter. So anyway, thank you everybody for listening. If you have any feedback, you can send that to us on our Facebook page, Instagram, on our Twitter, wherever you'd like. We'd love to hear from you. And until next time, we won't see you at the movies.
This has been an Age of Geek media production.